If your goal is weight loss and you've been struggling to stick with something or find your rhythm to actually see some progress, then I want to go over a concept with you that I hope will really help, because it's one that is not talked about often. Everyone wants to know what to do and how to do it, but we need to actually take a step back and look at who we are first so that we can match stuff to that. And it's this concept of understanding whether you're a moderator or an abstainer. And you can actually be both within a multitude of things, but it really will help you see exactly where we'd run into some issues with choosing the wrong diet for us, or the wrong structure, or too rigid or too loose for us. And a moderator is ultimately someone who needs to have a little bit of that good stuff that they absolutely like. So maybe it's a small dose of ice cream every single day, just a spoonful. I just need my piece of chocolate. So if you find yourself saying that, if I were to take that away from you and tell you it's not on plan, it's actually gonna take away the one thing that matters to you most, is having a little bit of autonomy. Having autonomy is just human nature, and it's when we feel like our autonomy is being taken away from us that we resist and go, I'm an adult, I know how to eat, leave me alone. I'm not gonna follow this plan anymore, and then we deem it to be too complex. And then we actually just give up on that. Instead of seeing the progress that we could have made had we allowed a small dose of that, right? Or whatever it is for you. And so a moderator is ultimately someone that starts to feel panicked. They think they're never gonna have something again, right? If you're taking this completely away from me, that's gonna create some stimulus of stress. And so therefore you know that that plan is not gonna work for you. And that's why the 80-20 rule can work really, really well for a moderator. It's figuring out what are the things that I can eat 80% of the time that I know are gonna give me the results that I'm after, and then 20% of the time having some flexibility, some autonomy, so that I don't feel panicked, so that I can break it up into small doses and still enjoy the entire process. And it's being strategic. Oftentimes people say, well, yeah, but that's slow. It's not slow if it's consistent and it lasts. It's strategic. And so that's what I want you to consider. And maybe you're a moderator with certain things, and maybe you need to be an abstainer with other food groups. And that's how a lot of people tend to be, or you're an abstainer across the board with different things, and that's okay too. So an abstainer is someone that ultimately, once they have that, it's all in. And there's probably some emotional ties, or it's just the fact that neurons that wire together or fire together end up wiring together. And that's just a part of the process of building habits, and that habit is so strong, or a binge eater, or just overconsumption to that degree. And so there needs to be some kind of removal. It actually needs to be outside of the scope of you being able to get it. And that could be, for some people, as simple as putting it in a jar, putting that jar on the top shelf. For me, if it's like there's ice cream in the house, it's going in my mouth. If it's going in my mouth, it's going down south type of deal, right? It's gonna end up here. So it actually needs to be removed from the house for me to be successful with it. And that gives me a sense of structure, because then I can go out, I can go to a place where it has ice cream and I can have a scoop so that my son is really happy, right? He gets his, but then it's not there tempting me, just like pulling me towards where I would eat the entire gallon, right? So it gives me that structure, right? Which is a form of autonomy, but in a healthy way for someone who's an abstainer. And really an abstainer is just someone that has trouble stopping. So if you feel like you have trouble stopping, you might find yourself to be an abstainer within that. And so we need to be able to look at this and say, where can I apply these types of structures because of my personality? Do I need to remove a few foods from my entire house so it creates structure? It takes away the struggle, doesn't create more struggle. And so then that way, I don't have trouble stopping as much. Or do I need to have a little dose, a little bit every single day? And with each of these, you can apply that 80-20 rule, is that we're just striving to be on point 80% of the time and giving ourselves a little bit of flexibility 20% of the time. But for a moderator, that 20% may be that it's in the house, it's available, and having that little bit of chocolate at the end of the night afterwards is gonna allow them to feel like they're really on track and not being, pulled away from not enjoying anything. For an abstainer, someone like myself, I just need to be able to go out and have pizza one night or some really good Mexican food and definitely some ice cream. And if I have that, it can be a destination to go to, right? It's still a form of needing to moderate, but it can't be within my vicinity. So hopefully this helps and you can start to build a plan based on this. Whatever questions you have, please feel free, reach out. Coach Joseph, Block Fitness.